Welcome to the Double Dribble Podcast with Dubin and Dakil. That's Jared Dubin, author of Last Night in Basketball. Make sure you're subscribed to his newsletter. Read all his stuff. Check him out on the socials. He always has great insights to the game. I'm Mo Dakil, former video coordinator with the Clippers, Spurs, Team Australia. Occasionally write for Bleacher Report, but mostly do videos on Offside. You can find me also on NBA TV on occasion. And Jared, I don't know if I even told you this. This Friday, I will be doing a show on X for the NBA, doing a bit of a pregame show for the NBA Cup semifinals, the Emirates NBA Cup. I gotta make sure I get all the lingo down and make sure we hit all the advertising. But it's gonna be fun. It's, I'm, it's actually a dream. Like getting to do a studio show like that is going to be fun. So this is going to be a cool experience. Make sure you guys check that out on X and all that fun stuff. Jared, we got a lot to talk about. And before we start, how you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. It's a lot to talk about today. Like you said, it's a pretty cool gig that you got there, talking about the cup for the NBA. So that's awesome for you. I'm very happy for you. And before we get started, remember to subscribe to the show, like the show, leave us those 5-star reviews, Spotify, Apple, wherever else you get your podcasts, youtube.com/at double dribble pod. And one more time, we are still looking for some intro music. We got some people talking to us in the comments on Spotify. If you check on there, you will see my email address if you want to get in touch with us that way. Otherwise, my email is in my social media bios that you could find it there. And we're still looking for that music, 10, 15 seconds, something along those lines. And, we'll see if we'll try to work something out there.
And also, I want to shout out the comments that we've had lately. Everybody's been really nice, been awesome. I'm going to read a few of them. HC, Elite Duo, Corbin, love the pod. Go Trojans, Mo. With you. Fight on, Corbin. Andrew Cooper, love the podcast. Jared Dubin is the best. No arguments from me there. Hauser Chica, best independent pod in the business. Mo was, we don't need that last part. Um, Francis McCarthy, laugh out loud. Yeah, the Thunder are, yeah, we don't need it. But you guys are doing,
Well, we are going to talk about that, though.
we are going to talk about it. But I just want to shout you guys out. Thank you for the comments. We do read them and try to respond to them if usually I'm behind. So like I see that Jared's already respond, but know that we've noticed it. We appreciate you guys. Please continue. Please again building a uh empire from the very very small beginnings. Remember 5 million reviews, so everybody get on top of it. That's enough rambling from me, but Jared, you sent me a text message. Not sure, it was over the weekend I think, and just said don't care what happens. I'm paraphrasing, but we're talking Boston Celtics on the podcast. So, okay, Jared,
Yeah.
I want you to start it off.
The Celtics, somehow, without Jason Tatum, are fourth in the NBA in offensive rating. They are literally a decimal point behind the Knicks for third. They're at 122.6. The Knicks are at 122.7. It's crazy that they're doing this. Um, it's a little bit more than they were scoring a year ago, which is also pretty crazy. They're doing this again, despite the fact that Tatum has not played a second this year, despite the fact that they lost Porzingis and Horford and Cornette and Drew Holiday, and really all they added was Anthony Simons, Josh Minot, Luca Garza, and Chris Boucher, and Hugo Gonzalez in the draft. Derek White, for the most part, hasn't made shots this year. Obviously, that's changed a little bit lately. Peyton Pritchard started the year ice cold too, but he obviously has come on as well. Their 3-point attempt rate, which I projected before the season, would actually break the record that they set last year, is actually a little bit down. They still aren't making the most threes in the league because they take a ton and they're playing really fast. But the attempt rate, like last year, was over. I think it was over 50% of their shots, if I'm
Yes.
remembering correctly. And this year, it's down to 47% of their shots. But they're taking still so many of them and making a lot of them. But for the most part, they're doing this by just never turning the ball over. They have the lowest turnover rate in the league by almost a full percentage point, and they're crushing the offensive glass. They have the fifth highest offensive rebound rate in the league. They're just behind the Rockets are so far ahead of everybody.
They don't count.
Right.
There's only 29. The Rockets are on a different level. There's 29 teams dealing with the offensive rebounds. The Rockets are on a different plane.
Yeah, and then there's the Pistons, the Blazers, and the Knicks, who are all around 31% offensive rebound rate. The Celtics are just below 30% at 29.7. So just from those two things, because they don't get free throws at all, they have the lowest free throw rate in the league. But not turning the ball over, getting a ton of offensive rebounds to help you win the possession battle is basically propping up and taking a ton of threes. Is propping up their offense, and I think it's just a really good story.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely like it's been very impressive, especially because it looked really bad to start the season.
Mhm.
Right? It like Jalen Brown was balling, but it looked bad. Like, yo, okay, this is going to be one of those seasons. They're going to tank. They're going to get a top pick or whatever. Tatum, we'll talk about him in a second, but like shouldn't come back. There's no questions. Everybody was kind of on board with all of that stuff. And then it kind of flipped over, I'd say the last like 6 weeks, maybe a month. I don't have the exact pinpointing thing, but like it's been truly impressive watching them. And the thing that really kind of stands out to me when I look at the thing I like to look at when I look at standings, I go to the ESPN standings because I like to go to the expanded tab. Because the most important thing I see is wins versus teams 500 or better.
Mhm.
Boston is 9-7 in that. Like that's great. That's a good mark. Like if you're a 500 team in that mark, like and you do well against the bad teams, you're a playoff team. You're a top 6 team usually. Like in that range. And I feel like that's where I think the Celtics where I've been really impressed with. They've gotten lucky with some of this stuff. They play the Lakers with no Luka Doncic, no LeBron. But that's the way it works for everybody. And yeah, I already hear a Celtics fan screaming at me, going, "We don't have Jason Tatum, you punk." So it's like whatever. But like, I think there's some of that stuff. But you have to give credit also to Missoula,
Mhm.
who's a complete psycho. And I mean that in every facet of. If he wasn't a basketball coach, he's probably a serial killer. Just saying. Like I genuinely think that's something or a bank robber or something. We know he's already planning heists when he goes into a bank. I wonder if banks like see him in Boston and go like. Granted, nobody actually goes into a bank anymore, but like, I wonder if they see him and go like, keep an eye on him. Like security's like, oh crap.
Yeah, like this guy has watched the town one too many times.
Yeah, like we need to keep. All right, I digress, but like the guy I think that's been most impressive for me across the team, it's not Jalen, it's not Pritchard, it's not Derek White. He's shooting it better now or anything. It's been Jordan Walsh.
Yes, glad you brought him up.
He's just been phenomenal. Like what he does defensively to me is like I'm like, yo, I love it. I love watching him play. I love watching his ass run all over the court. Like there's a level of respect I have for a dude that basically did not play for his first few years in the league, got DMPs to start this season, got his chance, and is absolutely killing it for them. And I think that's one of the more impressive stories for them.
Yeah, he's really run with the opportunity they gave him. They were starting Josh Minot early in the season, and it's been Walsh for the last, I don't know, 12 games, maybe more than that. But it's been like half the season essentially that he's been starting. And the defense, like you mentioned, the hustle, the offensive rebounding. I did the three things I noticed on League Pass last week, and I've been doing like also these are the leftover things that didn't quite make the cut this week, and one of them was Jordan Walsh's offensive rebounding, which is just incredible. Um, he had a game against the Knicks last week where he just had like 4 offensive rebounds, absolutely crushed them toward the end of the game. Incredibly fun player to watch, been huge for them, like you said. We do have to talk about Jalen Brown because the guy is just making literally every mid
Yeah,
range
by the
shot.
way, folks, I wasn't downplaying what Jalen Brown is doing. Just so anybody's before anybody freaks out about that. I'm
Yeah,
like
I mean he's
sensitive to criticism before criticism actually arrives today. I don't know what's wrong with me.
yeah. But anyway, Jalen Brown, this guy is taking a ton of mid-range shots, which usually is not a very good thing. Like 19% of his shots have come from 16 to 23 feet from the basket. That's more than twice what his career high was before this year, which was 9.3%. But he's making 56% of those shots. The game that he had again against the Knicks last week, he was just hunting mismatches, whether it was Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns, Mitchell Robinson, mostly Jalen Brunson, and just shooting right over the top of him and then going by or stepping back against Towns and Mitchell Robinson in space. I mean, this guy is just doing some unbelievable stuff this year. He's been certainly one of the 15 best players in the league, like early lead for one of the All NBA teams for sure. And I didn't know that he had this type of mid range stuff in him. He's been a, you know, mid to low 40s mid range shooter for his career. He's still in the mid to low 40s on like the short mid rangers, 10 to 16 feet, 42%. But 56% between 16 and feet and the 3 point line is just unbelievable. And it's not like, I mean, it is unsustainable to shoot quite at that level, but
Yeah.
if he gets into the high 40s, that's really good too.
Well, it's like, here's the thing: it's the drop off is not going to be like he's not going to go from 60 to like 23. Like it's not like it's just going to vanish in that sense. You're right. So like even if it regresses, excuse me, and gets into an area, yeah, it's still going to be in the 40s. That's still a great number to where you want to be at. I
And they
wonder.
need it desperately too because
Yep.
they don't have anybody else to create those type of shots without Tatum there.
Yeah,
It's he's playing the Tatum role and doing it really well.
the only area I and this is unfair for me, shocking, but like the only area where I want to see even more is just him work the post and draw a double
Mhm.
and
He's
there
never
because
been a
that's
great passer, is the thing.
and that's the last, like, to Brown's credit, every year he's been in the league, he's added something to his game. Each season something comes in and you're like, oh, you couldn't do that last year. And it's been this year, it's the mid range has really kind of blown up in a large way for him. It's the passing area is he sees it. It's just making the actual pass, I think, has become the issue for him in the next step. But I want to see him create the double team in the post because that's actually something Tatum did really well for them. And once you get that double team and you get them in rotations, the Celtics have you right where they want you. And I think that's really one of the more impressive things with them. I have this question here.
I will
I'm gonna
say
have
one more
go
thing on
for it.
Brown before you go to the next thing is, in fairness, he is averaging career high in assists per game, but the turnovers have also gone up with that, just because it's more responsibility on the ball for him.
Yeah,
Obviously, makes
the
sense.
number to pay attention to is assist to turnover ratio. That's really the one you want to be more locked in on that. I so here's the thing. They're 15-9 right now. They are third in the East, 2 games behind the Knicks, 4 games behind the Pistons, a half game up on Orlando, half game or a full game up on Toronto, game and a half off Philly at 6. The the run right now is, when you look at Boston, do you look at them as a contender? And on top of that, do you bring Jason Tatum back? And I know that's a tougher question to answer, but I just kind of want your views on that.
On the second part, like, it's hard to know. Like, I don't know the exact health of his Achilles, and I will say the thing I would not do is bring him back in like January, where it's like 8 months off of the injury, and you're coming back at literally the most aggressive timetable possible. Like, this has been in the past like a 12 to 13 month injury, and he's trying to aggressively beat that to begin with, just to come back at any point this season. So like, all the talk about him coming back like next month or something like that, I think is crazy. If he can get back in March, April, something like that, where it's 10, 11 months past the injury, and maybe he's not just 100% healthy, but he's a month, 6 weeks past being 100% healthy, then maybe you do that. Like, it depends obviously where the team is at that point and what his health is like at that point. If it was me, I'd just be like, you're coming back next year. Like, we'll see you then. It's way too important to the future of our franchise that you are 125% healthy than that you come back this season. But he's going to want to play, obviously. And if he's 100% healthy, how do you tell him not to play? Um, on the second or the first part of the question, I don't know that I see them as a contender. Like, I don't know how much I believe in the offense to the extent that it's been fourth in the NBA so far, and they're 16th, I think, or 17th maybe in defense. And if the offense falls back to ninth, 10th, then you're looking at something very different. So yeah, it's tough. It's really tough to say.
It's part of me is their success, and again, like this is tough, but like is a product of the East isn't what we thought it was going to be.
Mm.
We thought Cleveland was going to be a 1 or 2 seed. They're not. Orlando's been better, so like they just didn't start out well, but Orlando has kind of looks like has righted the ship a little bit. Toronto started out really well, and now they're beginning to fall back to earth. Like we have runs from teams that go like 15, 20 games where you've played your peak level. And then it's like and then it's just not fully sustainable, right? And it's so I don't I maybe am not as much of a believer as others in that stuff. Like I can't dispute 9-7 against teams above 500 look great, with the way you're playing, everything's rolling. But just something in me is like, but I don't trust this yet. And that's not a shot at them. It's just there's something there. I mean, like you are a Brown misses 5 games and you're in trouble type of thing. They survived Keita's injury, who we didn't really talk about. He's been really good for them, and a big part of their rebounding as well. Being out a few games, but like there's an there's a time frame where I feel like they're peaking now, and it's almost like Dominic Toretto in Fast and the Furious and going like too soon, and that's one of my concerns. And then with the Tatum stuff, like I'm so afraid of just on the flip side, right? Like, yeah, don't play this whole year. Don't play till next October. And I know he's going to play basketball, obviously, in between warming up and getting ready. 19 months or whatever that is, that's a long layoff. So, like, if he and my medical staff feel confident in March, I'd give him a go. But I also want people to understand he's coming back. He might not be the same Tatum right away.
No, like it would be totally unreasonable to expect him to be the same guy ever, like let alone right away when he gets back. Like guys don't come back and be 100% the same guy. Like even KD, who's been the best test case for coming back from an Achilles repair, is not 100% the exact same guy that he was before. Like the defense is not quite the same. Obviously, him being, the best shooting 7-footer probably of all time helps in terms of the offensive side of the ball. But yeah, I mean, I don't think we can reasonably expect Tatum to be 100% the same guy, and certainly not right away. You probably have to ease him back into what you want him to be doing. But he can obviously help. Like if it's you're giving minutes right now to guys that are not nearly as good as him to begin with, even if he's 75, 80%, he's going to be an upgrade on the guys that you're giving 20 minutes a game to. And I would imagine he would play more than that eventually, but maybe you start him off 20, 25 minutes a night and sort of ease him back.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of I I would just be really cautious
Yeah.
with Tatum.
I
And
do have to correct you though, real quick.
oh,
It was not Dominic Toretto that went too early with the Nas and
no, he said they went too soon. He said they went too soon. He was in the no, don't no. We're not having that. We're not having that. Dominic Toretto saw Paul Walker hit the Nas and literally was like too soon, and then went. It's no, I don't do that to
just have
me.
to make sure.
I got my fast. I know my shit. Okay, I got a lot of useless knowledge up here. A lot of it has to do with Fast and the Furious. But anyways, there's we'll move on before we get into a full on fight. The okay, so the other thing too is the Emirates NBA Cup has been awesome. I don't. I'm not saying it obviously because I have a gig, but like just overall, it does feel like the guys play harder. And these quarterfinals games, it really felt like it, especially Miami Orlando.
That game was very fun. The way it started out was kind of crazy, obviously,
Yeah.
and then to turn out the way it did was even crazier. Desmond Bain, obviously, unbelievable. Um, I thought that the Heat, after that first part of the game, really struggled with the physicality of Orlando's defense. When you don't have the guys that can create advantages against the bigger defenders that Orlando has, I feel like that all drive, no picks, no handoffs offense can sort of get bogged down a little bit. And I felt like that happened throughout the second portion of the game. But incredibly entertaining game to begin with, just the way it went back and forth and the way Orlando was able to recover from that start.
They had no answer for Desmond Bain. Like he completely destroyed them in the sense that he could do whatever he wanted, got wherever he wanted. It was a level of physicality. I think you're right on with that. Which is surprising to say that about a Miami Heat team where they just didn't meet the level of physicality the other team had. But also Orlando does bring a particular bruising level element to the way they played. It was interesting because so when I was watching the game, when Orlando was struggling early, Bane was very indecisive. Like two turnovers really stand out in my head. The first one was he Goga Batadze has the ball. It looks like it's going to be a dribble handoff. He hesitates. Goga hits him with the ball, goes to set the ball screen, and then becomes a moving screen on Batadze. But the hesitation where if he just immediately when Goga gets the ball comes off the handoff, he has a way to attack. Hopefully, gets a switch. He doesn't, and then that leads to eventually an offensive foul. And then the next time, it looks like he should come off a flare screen. I forget who had the ball, and he hesitates to come off the flare screen, thinking he should come back to the sideline, and the guy just throws it backcourt violation. Like when he was decisive, because then after that, it's like it almost snaps, and then he starts playing decisive basketball, and they couldn't stop him. And that was a thing that I found really impressive, and just the overall environment. It really felt like everybody wanted this.
I'm glad you brought up the first turnover with Goga because I can't remember who was doing the broadcast, but they were talking about how Goga didn't hold the screen long enough there, and I was like, I don't know about that.
It wasn't Goga. It wasn't on Goga. It was. I'm gonna just clue you all in. Most of the time on these moving screens, the guard goes too early or
Yeah.
doesn't use it properly. And to the big credit or fault, I should say, then they reach to make contact on the screen because they're told to make contact on the screen. So it's almost like, yeah, it looks like they're a lineman, trying to make a block, and that's where the foul comes. But a lot of times, it's the guards not using the screen properly, which leads to that.
I thought Goga played well in his minutes, by the way, for the most part.
He changed the energy because it was like it 15-0 to start the game. Miami went
Something
up,
along those lines. I
or
want
like
to say
15-2.
13-0, maybe. I think it was.
It was something ridiculous where you're just like, damn, man, Orlando not going to show up on their own home court. Again, they snap back to reality. They get going. They find their flow. But Goga came in and brought a certain level of energy. And then the other thing too, the Magic just went 5 out and were able to spread the floor. And Miami's defense just couldn't handle it.
Yeah, I thought Anthony Black, despite not shooting well, played well as well. I think he had 7 or 8 assists, if I'm remembering correctly. Suggs made a few big shots. The other thing is Paolo not like overpowering the offense since he came back. More okay, like being within the flow of everything. And obviously, despite Franz not being there for this game too, still being able and willing to do that, I think is really important for them, given the rhythm that they found offensively while he was out. Him being able to slide back into that rather than coming over and being like, this is still my team, my offense, and I'm going to be the guy where I got to have a 30+% usage rate, I think is important for them.
Yes. And I think here's the thing. There's always the conversation of like, can he change? And it's the same conversation we always talk about with Trae Young about being two ball dominant. Obviously, massively different players. I think you're going to see Paolo kind of understand more how he needs to play in a way and make the changes necessary. And I think you'll see the offense kind of continue to rise at the level that it needs to. Real quick, the Knicks beat the crap out of Toronto. Here's my thing with Toronto, and I know there no RJ Barrett. They're coming down to earth now, right? Like and we did the whole. We were like, oh crap, they're two. Like what's? They're coming down to earth now. I think they've lost 4 in a row, but I think they've lost 5 of their last 6. It's including a loss to Charlotte, which is unforgivable. If you're a good team, it's unforgivable. So I think they're a team a little bit in free fall, but the Knicks again looked very good, very aggressive. Like the Josh Hart, I think they're 8-1 with him in the starting lineup now.
That sounds right. I don't know if that's the exact record because they went 6-3 without OG. So I don't know if they are 8-1. No, yep, they are 8-1. That
Woohoo! I got it right.
lost to the Celtics last week.
Right. So like they're kind of like for me with the Knicks. Here's the thing: I kind of know what they are. As long as they're healthy, and they will be better and better as they have more understanding of Mike Brown's offense. For me, it's going to be the defensive end and how do they handle that stuff, and then the health. Like I kind of feel like I have my my finger on like this is who this team is, and what they are and how they're going to play, and I like it. I like the way they're playing. I think Mikal Bridges is playing well. Is a more democratic offense, more touches, which then allows Brunson to just absolutely cook because he destroyed Toronto.
Yeah, a couple things on the Raptors. It's 6 of 7 losses too, with 2 losses to Charlotte in there.
Get him
Um,
out! Disqualified from the playoffs.
I think I think they need RJ Barrett back because he's one of the few guys that actually puts pressure on the rim for them. I thought not having quickly in that game as an
Yeah,
additional like off the dribble shooting threat for them was important because as much as I like Jamal Shed, not necessarily the same threat offensively. With the Knicks, I agree with you that we kind of know who they are, which is weird to say about a team that's, 23, 24 games in with a new coach that has been shuffling its starting lineup all season and didn't have Deuce McBride for that game either and has been without OG for 9 games, didn't have Towns on Sunday. Brunson missed a couple games. Obviously, Bridges hasn't missed any time. Hart missed a couple games early in the year. Mitch only plays like every other game or whatever it is. It does seem like we can have a pretty good handle on them. Their offense is going to be really, really good. The defense is going to be pretty good. And on some nights can be very good because, I mean, the defense that OG, Bridges, especially the two of them, and then Hart are playing right now is just unbelievable. The job that those 3 guys did against Scotty Barnes and then Brandon Ingram after the first quarter was unbelievable. Like one of the better defensive games that I've seen OG Anunoby play ever, which is pretty incredible considering he has one
it,
of those games like every other night. He was amazing on Scotty Barnes and then really good on Ingram down the stretch when they switched those matchups. Or no, sorry, on Ingram and then on Barnes because
yeah, it was
they had Hart
the other
on
way.
Barnes early on. But all 3 of those guys just really, really good defense.
Yeah, I kind of just know where they're at. What's your take? So I have to rewatch. Actually, let me correct myself and be honest. I have to go watch the Knicks Magic game from the other day. They played like on Sunday.
Mhm.
What's your take on this matchup? I love that they've played already, and then they're going to play again here pretty soon in Vegas. What's your take on the matchup for this Knicks Magic Emirates Cup and semifinal?
Yeah, I think that the Knicks are another team that has sort of struggled with Orlando's physicality in those first 2 games. The Magic kind of blew them out both times. They won by double digits in both of those games. Obviously, Franz goes out in that game on Sunday and changes things a little bit. I think he went out in the first quarter or
Right.
the second quarter. I didn't see the game either, but I know he went out pretty early on. So that was a little bit different. And I had seen the first 2 Knicks Magic games where they really struggled with the physicality that Orlando brings to the table. So I'm interested to see how they deal with that. But they do have the size to compete with them, especially with OG back. So I'm interested to see how that goes for sure.
I want to see how they guard Bane. Right? Like probably going to be a mix of Bridges, OG, and Hart. I know OG's also going to be on Paolo a bunch. I think Hart's going to be on Paolo a bunch. Uh, but I want to see that's the matchup there. I want to see is like because right now the way the Magic are playing, as great as Paolo is, like it's Bane driven.
Mm.
I feel like it hits another level. It hits another gear once Bane gets going, and you saw that in the Miami game, right? And I feel like for the Knicks, that's where I gotta attack. I want to slow that down because if I do that, you should be able to do enough to win that game.
I'm interested to see how they decide to match up, especially if the Magic are going to start Anthony Black in Franz's place like they did in that game the other night, because that probably pushes Bridges onto Suggs and Brunson onto Black. And then you have Hart and OG for Paolo and Bain. And I'm interested to see which way they go with those two matchups.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the game there, and Suggs versus Brunson is also I think going to be a battle.
Oh, yeah. And they
That's going to
could
be
try Black on Brunson too to get a little
yep
bit more size. Like he's 6'7" and has the incredibly, like obviously Suggs has the incredibly long arms too, but you'll have one of those guys on Brunson and presumably one of them on Bridges, and it's going to be difficult for both of them.
yeah, like that game has the earmarks of being a real close one. I know they play tight on Sunday, and forgive us, folks. It's just too much basketball sometimes.
Plus, I
You
have a
know,
job that requires me to be available on Sundays.
yeah, and I'm married. I have to do stuff. I think we got did we get our Christmas tree on Sunday? We got a Christmas tree. I just don't know exactly when it was. But again, there's just I'm excited to watch that matchup. I think this is going to be a close game. I think it's going to go down to the wire. Who needs it more? It's always like the dumb question. But this is my thing with the Emirates NBA Cup is like this is actually valuable for teams in a way. Who do you think gets more out of going to the finals?
I think the Knicks beating the Magic again after losing those first two games to them and being like, we can handle the physicality of this matchup and we can beat you guys, even though like the first of those wins came without Franz. I don't know that they necessarily need to get to the finals more than the Magic or would benefit from getting to the finals more than the Magic. Like I think Orlando, who hasn't made as deep a playoff runs, would benefit from that in a pretty big way. But I do think the Knicks being like we can beat this team in back to back times that we beat that we play them, I think would be pretty psychologically important because the physicality element and the size element, like they kind of not necessarily struggled, but they played a real close series with Detroit, and the physicality seemed to bother them in the first round last year too. And if they can go in and win another game like that against this team, I think it would be psychologically important for them.
So I'm of the other belief. I think it matters more to the Magic, right? And I think it's a sense of with how bad their season started. Yo, I was on this podcast. I was ready to fire Jamal Mosley,
Yep.
right? Like I literally did I overreact? Yeah. Am I probably going to do it again? Yeah. But still like that to them this is one of those things where you can kind of say like, look, we survived to start a rough start here. We have to build ourselves up. We let's like if I was him back then, let's just focus on the NBA Cup, guys. Let's go win the NBA Cup, right? And then we can. That's a building block for. We've seen teams do it, particularly young teams. I know they've been in the playoffs. They haven't won a playoff series yet with this iteration, and I think it's important that you have this group and you get something like that. Yeah, everybody makes fun of the Emirates Cup. I get it what actually do you gain with this? You know, you're going to play two extra, potentially if you win it, you play two extra games. Um, and besides the money, there's no real advantage to it. It's a thing inside of like, yo, we did this, right? We've talked a lot about how great it was for Indiana. It pulled Milwaukee's season out of the dirt last year.
Mhm.
Um, of course, it didn't go that far out of the dirt, but like it got them out of the tailspin, and they beat a good Oklahoma City team, eventual champions, I should say. Um, to that, so like I think it matters. I think it makes a difference for them.
Yeah, I mean, I could certainly see that. Like getting the experience of going to the finals would definitely be important for them. I'm not like anti that take.
Yeah. No, no, I get it. But
Yeah,
I understand. But I was just on the different side of it.
yeah.
Let's head west. And let's try to do this quickly because we've went long on this stuff. Um Oklahoma City's just unfair. And here's let me just give you a quick story. And
Please.
I knew this was going to happen, right? Like I'm every day I'm running behind schedule, all that stuff, and part of my schedule is walking the dog in the afternoon. So, I go to walk my dog and I'm like, "All right, I'm going to miss the start of this Suns OKC game." And I said to myself, this is probably going to be when you come back this game's going to essentially be over. And like, yeah, I walked in, missed, I took my dog for a pretty good walk. Came back, it was 38-22. It was like, okay. I was like, crap. Like I said, I'll go back and watch the beginning, but like, they're just not fair.
Yeah, it was a double digit lead like 4 minutes into the game or whatever it was. And then it seemed like the Suns might be able to claw their way back into it toward the end of the first half. And then all of a sudden it's a 26-point game at halftime. I was talking to my brother last night and I was telling him, like, this team is going to win 75 games. And he's like,
Yeah,
how?
I'm.
Like, what are you talking about? I'm like, Zach, they are 24-1. They're winning this game tonight by 26 points. The one game they've lost this year, they had a 20-point lead and lost by two on the road. I think it was the second night of a back to back.
Second night of a back to back flying from LA to Portland, which is still a pretty decently long flight. Like, yeah.
And they're doing all this. They didn't have J Dub for the first half of the season. They don't have Hartenstein right now. They've been without Dort for a few games at a certain point this year. They've been without Caruso for a few games at a certain point this year. They've basically been missing everybody for games here and there. They haven't played a single game with their preferred starting lineup yet. And they're beating teams by 15 points a night after setting the record for point differential last year and then going out and winning the title. When you look at the adjusted efficiency on last night in basketball, they have the best defense in modern NBA history in terms of like the era adjusted defense. It's better than I can't remember which Spurs team it was that's in first place, but better than that team by like a percentage point or by like 0.1% or something along those lines. You can't score on them. You can't even dribble on them. They've taken the offense to another level this season. I feel like everybody had the stat last night. Shea is shooting 46% on off the dribble threes this year. Like, one of the things I wrote about before last season was how the only thing they needed to add was someone who could make off the dribble threes. And Shea shot like 35, 36% on them, whatever it was last year. J Dub had a little bit of an uptick in them last year. But what Shea is doing on those shots this year is just there's no way to stop them at this point. And it's not even just that you can't score; you can't even dribble the ball against this team. Kason Wallace is going to make all defense. He's unbelievable. He's leading the league in steals. Like, I just don't know what you're supposed to do. Like, how is this team losing another game, let alone 8 more games this season to just tie the wins record? They have to lose 8 more games, and then
Like,
who's beating them 4 times in 7 games? That seems outrageous.
okay. So here's the thing. I actually think I could see, I'm not predicting it, but I could see them losing in the playoffs more than I could see them losing in the regular season because playoff prep, everything, the right team comes in with the right. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I could see that more than them losing. One, I don't think they'll lose back to back games at all this season.
No,
I don't think
I
that's
would
going to
be
be the case.
shocked if they had a stretch where it's like, they lose 3 out of 5 or something out of like
Yeah,
that
like
would
the
be
oh no, that's not happening. That's not happening. 3 out of 5, you're crazy. No way. I will be astonished by that. But looking at their schedule, and look, the game tomorrow doesn't actually count, or on Saturday. The NBA Cups games don't count towards the schedule, the
well,
record, right?
The Saturday games count. The finals doesn't count.
Okay, that's okay. Sorry, then I got them mixed up. Okay, so San Antonio. All right, we'll discuss that in a second. But Clippers is a win. Minnesota, maybe they get lucky. Memphis, that's a win for them. They play San Antonio again in a baseball series, a home and home with Christmas Day. Sixers, Atlanta, Portland. Gold, like I mean, it's like I don't. I guess the next time I realistically, God damn, they play San Antonio so many times now. Even before this game on Saturday, they play them twice in December and then again mid-January. They're gonna play San
What is
Antonio's four
at
times.
at Houston on January 15th is their best chance to lose next.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is the one game I'd go like, okay,
By the
that
way,
could.
they've won 16 in a row, and we're talking about them maybe not losing for another month.
Oh, no, they might break the Lakers' win streak of 33 games. Like, let me just put that out there right now. They genuinely might break that record. They're that good. I don't think people fool. I was texting. You had the conversation with your brother. I had that with my basketball chat, where I'm like, guys, like they're breaking the 73 win record,
Oh
and
yeah,
they're like,
I'd
well,
be more surprised at this point if they didn't break it than if they did.
and it's like, and one of my buddies says, well, look, the Warriors started 24-1. I go like, yeah, this team's deeper than that Warriors team. Like it's just not close. This team's deeper than that team. They didn't have their second best player in the for to start the year, and it didn't matter. And you said it. You texted me this. I'm gonna give you said. Have they even had their full team at any point this season?
Nope.
And my response was, don't need it. So I mean, I think obviously the most important thing is Shea, right? If they lose Shea for an amount of time, yeah, then they'll take some losses. Not as many as people will think, but they'll take some losses, and that will hurt their chances. But if Shea's healthy all year, man, they're breaking that record. And I'm telling you now, 33 games, 33 wins in a row is on the docket. They can do it.
They can do it for sure. Like they won by like 30 the other night without Shea. Granted, it was against Utah, but I think they didn't have Shea. They didn't have Dorton Caruso, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, no, they had a list of guys that were out, and it was like, and they won by 30. They're at 16 wins right now, or 16 straight. I'm telling you now, they can win 33 in a row. They can break that Lakers record, which everybody thought would never be broken. This team could do it.
I'd almost be more surprised if they did. Like, who beats this team? You know.
And everybody, no worries. They're only probably going to get a top 5 pick next year,
Oh my
thanks to
god.
the Clippers. So that's
Actually,
what.
they've got two lottery picks that haven't played for them because Topic and Sorber are both out.
Yeah. Although we've heard good news lately on Topic, right? With the testicular cancer.
I know that he's getting treatment. I don't know anything beyond
Oh,
that.
I thought I saw something that had some good news. But okay. Um, but please, hopefully he gets back and gets healthy. The team they're gonna play are the San Antonio Spurs, who I love the way they played against the Lakers. This first off, that game was kind of close, but not really at one point, right? That was one of those things. They went on a run in the second quarter, and then the Lakers would chip at the lead, and then they would, okay, let's extend the lead again. And it would
Something
kind of
happened in
go
the fourth quarter.
right, exactly. No, and that's to the Spurs' credit, this young team's credit. They've blown games because of that. And like this game, they actually were able to hold on, and they did a good job, I thought, with the way they played. De'Aaron Fox has been absolutely phenomenal. Castle was amazing last night in the way he played, and then on top of that, Dylan Harper killing it. Like this is the type of team that gives the Lakers problems. Athletic guards and wings is they can't defend that.
Yeah, Keldon Johnson in the first half too, just making
Yeah,
absolutely every single shot. Didn't score a lot after that first second quarter stretch where he was just making everything. I think he had 12 points in 6 minutes or whatever it was during that stretch. But yeah, I mean, like you said, this is the type of team that gives the Lakers problems because of the athletic guards. Like the athleticism difference was noticeable with all three of Fox, Castle, and Harper. Harper, I'm not sure I've ever seen a lefty that gets to his right hand as quickly and easily as Harper does. It's incredible.
he's so good. So this is I just want to go to this point. I'm gonna throw this there out to you. I tweeted it out there
Mm.
because we talked about it with the Giannis thing of like they should trade for Giannis. I'm now out. I'm not trading Castle or Harper. I'm not.
And then you're not getting them, obviously.
Yeah, and you're not getting him, and you're not, and you're not getting him. I'm not saying, oh, they could do that. No, I'm
Yeah,
not
you're
in the
not
honest
getting him for like Jeremy Sohan.
Sohan and Vassell and like and picks. Like, no, I'm out. If I'm the Spurs, that game last night, watching it from Castle, who took the leap, what I think Harper can be, and then when they get Wemby back, I don't. It's not that I don't need Giannis. I don't want to give up those guys for Giannis.
I don't want to give up those guys either for almost anybody. Like the fact that you can just rotate the three of those guys in and they can all play together and they can all get downhill so quickly and they can all pass really well. It's just it's really difficult for anybody to deal with, probably except for Oklahoma City.
Yeah, and I think that's the
Although I desperately want to see the two, specifically the two young guards, play against Casey Wallace and Lou Dort. Like
yeah,
that is going to be awesome to watch.
this game in the Emirates NBA Cup is a measuring stick game for them.
Yeah,
Right? Like I think that's the important thing, I think it's an important aspect of like, hey, this is the types of and to just go back to the idea of Giannis, I just think you have to gut so much. And I love the fact everybody was ready to trade Fox right after Dylan Harper looked really good to start the season. And I think you need this many guards to take on a team like OKC. You need to be able to have multiple guys that can, because OKC has 5 guys that can defend your ass. You need to have guys that can get downhill and attack constantly and consistently. I think that's an important aspect with what you have. I am very excited for this game, except for the fact that Oklahoma City's just gonna win. Like it's not even like I hate they're too good. And it's and with no Wemby, and I think Wemby's close to returning. Wemby's first game back is not going to be against Oklahoma City.
no,
That'd be mean as a coaching staff. Like, oh, okay, first game back, deal with Chet Holmgren, possible defensive player of the year, which I believe you were calling as a dark horse, right, at the start of the season.
I think I had him as like the second place guy. Yeah,
Second place guy, yeah. So like, I mean, he already looks it. He's been absolutely phenomenal. But if I'm the Spurs, if I do anything, it's maybe add a wing player. Bill Simmons has been calling that they should make a run for Trey Murphy, but like
that would be
that's
awesome. That would be
that's
awesome.
but that's like it. I am not in. I would not. I'm not here for Spurs trade for Giannis, and I get it. I understand it. Somebody even responded to my tweet going like, "Dude, you're overreacting. They're gonna have if they make that trade, they're gonna have Fox and either Castle or Harper, then Giannis and Wemby." Like, I get it. But there's an element of like when you trade for Giannis at 31, your timeline gets super accelerated.
Mhm.
And as of like, I don't think they're there yet. Because also you have to gut your team. Then you have to. The Thunder showed us, and to be honest, the Pacers showed it. You got to be deep. You got to have depth, and you got to be able to bring. You got to have this stuff. I like where they're at. If they can get a good wing, like 3-and-D wing type of guy, that won't gut their roster to do it. I think that's where they got to go.
Speaking of the 3-and-D wings, I do want to give a shout out to Harrison Barnes. Just a really good player.
Yeah.
Knocks down every corner three, plays good defense, can get to the rim still when you close out too hard on him. Just a really good player and a perfect fit for what they need from that spot.
Yeah. He's been, and you know what? Great veteran presence for this team. Like him,
He's in his
obviously,
16th year in the league, by the
it's insane. It's insane.
way.
Like, that's
I
absurd to
can't
me.
believe how long he's been around.
And good for him. Like, he's really done a great job. I, I love this Spurs team. And that's without having Wemby. Like, watching them play, I think they're 9-3 now in their last 12 without Wemby. Like, been pretty impressive with the way they've put some games together. There's a lot there to like about this team, man.
Yeah. Quickly on the Lakers, them getting out free throwed in a game was very surprising. The defense is an issue. Defense with the big three guys on the floor is like in the 120s defensive rating.
It,
They're minus 4.9 net rating in 132 minutes with all three guys on the floor. All of the defensive stuff points to like whenever LeBron is on the court, it's not very good, which is not surprising given that he's 41 years old or will be 41 years old in a couple weeks. Um, I don't know what you do about that on that end of the court. Like the theory
well,
of that team just has to be the offense is so overwhelmingly good, which it can be, but wasn't last night.
I think the problem for them, like we've been saying it, they're not going to be able to defend on the perimeter from the beginning. Like I think that's, and this is the type of team that hurts you. Athletic guards with speed will hurt this team consistently all the time. Like that's just going to be their Achilles heel for the most part. And I think that's the problem where when you're starting, we had the conversation early, and I think we knew they were going to start Luka, Austin, and LeBron when fully healthy. But the question was, should they? Right? Because it's like it really hurts you defensively, and it's. I just think that's where they're at. Like it's that's who they are. Unless, and I don't see a trade coming. Rui Hachimura can only do so much defensively. Marcus Smart can only do so much defensively. Shout out to him, by the way, 8 threes last night. Like you're not getting that game again. Wait, you're
I don't
not.
think so.
Or like that happens twice a year, right? And so like that's part of the reason why that game was closer than it actually should have been. But I just think that's the challenge the Lakers have to figure out, and like they just don't have the personnel. Like there is no schematic thing I can think of that JJ Redick can put in there that I'm gonna be like solve the problem. And Luka's trying defensively. Like he is trying. Like it's not a matter of like Luka's giving up defensively. He's actually busting his balls on defense. It's just not there. Like, he doesn't have that ability to defend some of these guys. And then so that's why you always got to pair him with another good defender. Except his backcourt mate is Austin Reeves, who might be worse than Luka defensively. And I think that's a conversation for another time with them.
Yeah, I think specifically this year, Reeves is probably worse than Luka defensively. They also the transition defense when they're all complaining they don't get back on defense enough, and then the half
Transition
court
defense
defense.
for this team's been bad for a while,
Yeah,
like for years. But yeah,
yeah, the half court defense obviously is still a problem too, given how you can pick on any of those guys at the point of attack, and LeBron just can't give the same kind of effort on a night to night basis because again he's going to be 41 soon.
yeah, but he had a hell of a dunk on Luke Cornett. Oh my
Oh my
god.
god! And he had a chase down block on I think it was
Yeah,
Fox.
that was that dunk was something.
Oh
Um,
god! Yeah,
yeah. Do you agree with me? OKC's probably gonna win the Emirates NBA Cup.
probably.
Yeah, like at this point, it's a
I'm gonna
shock.
say no. I don't agree because it's not probably. It's definitely.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Is there any NBA topics you want to touch on before we move on to everybody's favorite segment?
We have been talking about the Nets rookies a little bit. If you want to talk like very briefly about those guys, we've been texting about them because we both watched a couple Nets games last week. Danny Wolf, really fun.
They got there's listen, each of those guys have something. It's now, is that enough for them to be NBA players? Like to in a long term aspect of it. Like they have to build on that stuff. Danny Wolf's got some, I like his passing, I like his vision. Um how do you say Igor
Yegor Joman.
Diego German. Sorry, folks. Like I'm always gonna be bad with names. Okay, um, Diego German, Joman. Like I like his shit. I just like the guys that I like them. I'm intrigued. I need to watch more of them to have an actual full on assessment.
Yeah, me too. Except for Danny Wolf, who I highlighted in three things last week. I just think between the passing and the shooting, I think he's going to be a good player. Got to shave the shoulders though. We were talking about that during
Oh God, no, folks. Like you got to understand this because I was watching this game on delay. Right, like way behind. I'm like, I'm not gonna fast forward. I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna do what I need to do. Come back, and Jared texts me going like, "Hey man, you're gonna see a surprise in the third quarter." And I'm like, "Oh, what is that?" Yo, dude, like you got to shave the shoulders, dude. Like I'm not here to shame anybody or anything like that, but like wax, whatever. You're in Brooklyn. It's metropolitan city. I'm just saying, please,
I
please,
will
dude.
say I can say this very standard like Midwestern Jewish guy with the hairy shoulders. Like
Well, I mean, I don't know if he's trying out for Teen Wolf 3 or not, but like that's the vibe I got. Okay, I'm sure that was probably me, and I apologize. Sorry. Um, let's go to the favorite segment. Um, I told you all year, you guys, the University of Miami was going to make the playoffs. Now, I also said I thought both Notre Dame and Miami were going to make the playoffs. Notre Dame did not. I'm not shedding a tear for them. Congratulations, Jared. You're in the playoffs.
I am still kind of in shock that they actually put Miami in. I had a text going with a bunch of friends talking, and the whole time I was just like, "We're not getting in." The selection committee doesn't care. They don't care that we beat Notre Dame. They've been telegraphing this all year. They moved Alabama ahead of Notre Dame specifically to protect against this kind of situation where if Alabama loses, they just move down to 10 and there's still a buffer between Notre Dame and Miami. Um, and I was wrong, and I couldn't be happier to be wrong. We deserve to be in. We deserve to be in over Notre Dame. Like, does Notre Dame probably deserve to be in over Alabama, who hasn't played well in a month and a half? Yeah, probably. But the idea that Notre Dame was going to get in over Miami was totally ridiculous and made absolutely no sense. I will say I did get tipped off by a text message just as the show was starting. One of my friends texted me, "I have a feeling you're going to be very happy in about 20 minutes." And I was like, "I'm not optimistic." But then after the selection, I was like, "Did you have inside information?" And he showed me a text message from someone that he did have inside information.
Oh, jeez.
So that was like once actually the way I knew was they kept talking about Alabama, Notre Dame, and Miami, Alabama, Notre Dame, and Miami, and then just before they announced the number 10 team, they said Miami and Notre Dame. And I was like,
Right.
wait a minute. They just flipped that the way they were talking about these two teams. I feel like that means we got in. And then obviously we did. We're going to play Texas A&M on December 20th, I believe it is. So a week from Saturday. And I'm very excited. It's going to be awesome, man.
Yeah, this is congratulations. I want to say this, because I kind of want to go into the Notre Dame meltdown. I know folks were talking about this on Thursday, and all this went down Sunday, and we're behind the times. But like, there's still some fun stuff to discuss with this. Alabama has absolutely zero right to be in there. Zero right. And I'll tell you the team that got screwed over more than Notre Dame. It's BYU.
Here's
BYU
the
should
thing.
actually
The thing is, they didn't look like they belonged on the field with Texas Tech in either game.
Bama got -5 rushing yards in the conference championship game.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. Cool. They lost. BYU lost twice to the same top 5 team.
Mhm.
And it's like, okay, so they're completely out. That's their only loss. Those are their only losses.
Yep.
If it was 2 different top 5 teams, will we be talking about it? Like, that's my. I think they got screwed even more than Notre Dame. Nobody wants to talk about it. Let's just be honest. Notre Dame's schedule, besides SC, because I'm not going to let you guys devalue that, was pretty shitty. After losing to you guys, they win 10 straight, but it's like they didn't have any tough games on their schedule. You know, for the most part, even SC. I'll be honest. Um, even though we had a fourth quarter lead for like about 15 seconds. Or however long it took the dude to run back the kickoff return. Uh, I just think like that's the deal. But I was telling you Miami's going to be in. I had no doubt Miami was going to be in.
I
The
had a lot of doubt. I was on the exact opposite side. I really just thought the committee didn't care. They were telegraphing for a while that they didn't care. And apparently they were just setting this up the whole time to make like a shocking reversal. Like that's the only
they
explanation.
were they were setting up a TV show. And by the way, they got to stop with the TV show. It's
Yeah.
awful. Everybody watches it. By the way, that's everybody's fault because everybody goes into. I've yet to watch a second of it, but also it's because I know I don't have to. I have no horse in the race, knowing that SC wasn't going to be in. I want to. What's your reaction to Notre Dame's, especially their AD's, like complete meltdown?
If you want the ACC to advocate for you, join the ACC.
Yeah, I mean that's really my whole thing is join a conference. Like that's the you I get it. You get a ton of money from NBC just for your football. You don't have to share with anybody. Totally understand that. But that also puts you in these situations,
Yeah,
right?
they've also got
That's
this deal starting next year where if they are ranked in the top 12, they make it no matter what. Like
I've
they get to be a special little snowflake.
I'm beginning to see it's funny because you just said that and literally maybe a minute before we went on, Yahoo Sports tweeted this out. It's per Dan Wolken. After learning of Notre Dame's memorandum of understanding that grants the Irish preferential playoff access starting next year, athletic directors in other leagues are threatening to freeze Notre Dame out of future schedules. Like the other ADs are like, we're not here for this. And I'm actually with them. This big baby shit that they're doing, first off, they look weak in the way they're acting. Like he is making the program look weak. Am I saying this because I hate Notre Dame? Yeah, but I'm also being a little bit like in the sense of like I would be pissed if SC acted this way.
Yeah,
If SC was like, like I would just say, hey, all right, we got fucked. Everybody gets it from time to time through the course of college football. Every year, teams are going to get screwed over with this imperfect system that we have. You can't go, I'm not going to play now. The whole bowl, I'm not going to play in the Pop Tarts Bowl or whatever is very big baby shit from them. And it's like, this is an AD who, by the way, has been talking tough about the whole SC Notre Dame rivalry game. We'll play them anytime, anywhere. And SC said, bet, we'll see you in September. And they're like, whoa, 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 whoa. We like the game as is. So it's like, okay, so you were full of shit. It's like all of this stuff. Like, I don't, I'm not rocking with this. I think the way they're acting is big baby shit. You know how you do this? You know how you avoid this? You beat Miami in Miami, or you don't lose to Texas A&M at home. And sure, like there's controversial call, the holding that should have been called or whatever. That happens in every freaking game. Every season, a team gets screwed off these things. You're no different. And I just think there's a level of like, okay, like I'm part of the blue blood arrogance of SC, right? I think we should be competing for a national title every year. I'm part of that level, and I just don't think like this is. I just think this is weeks from the AD and makes the program actually look weak.
it does. But I do got to say, I got to give props to Indiana as well, going and beating Ohio State. My brother went
Yeah,
to Indiana. He was at the game with my father, and very cool for them. I can't believe that they're number one. Like I remember going to visit my brother and my friends that went to Indiana and going to those games and like tailgating, but not going inside the stadium because they were so bad. Or there was one weekend I went, they were playing Wisconsin. We went inside the stadium, left at the end of the first quarter because it was 28-0 against Wisconsin. And now they're number one in the country and the top seed in the college football playoff. It's ridiculous.
yeah. So a lot of fun with that stuff. I'm excited for that, but more importantly, happy for you, Jared. Happy just for you personally. Okay, even though you're rooting against SC in that SC Oregon game, but like whatever.
I'm
Okay,
happy
done.
for me, and I'm happy for Malachi Tony, and I'm happy for Francis Maui Noah and Ruben Bain and all of the guys on the team. But we got to go beat Texas A&M, and then we would have to play Ohio State if we win that game.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna have my Big Ten allegiance stand up and be peacocking quite a bit. Not really. I don't care that much. All right. Thank you so much for listening to the Double Dribble podcast.